Do you know who won the first Oscar for Best Makeup as a result of a werewolf transformation scene? How about the name of the truck stop in the film Maximum Overdrive? The answers to those and 664 other questions are found in this book, James Newman's 666 Hair-Raising Horror Movie Trivia Questions. If you love horror movies as much as I do, you really need to get a copy of this book. It came out a few years ago, but I don't think enough people know about it yet, and it really belongs in the personal library of every horror fan. Here's what the publisher has to say. Do you like scary movies? Are horror flicks all you think about? Ever been called a weirdo because you know more about Night of the Living Dead than you know about current events? Do people look at you funny because you have no interest in reality TV, but you can name every film in which Vincent Price appeared? Do you feel like an outsider because you've never cared about sports, yet you cheered at the top of your lungs when some kids played soccer with a severed head at the end of Hostel Part 2? If you would rather visit Count Dracula's castle than take a trip to the beach, if you'd prefer hanging out with Pinhead, having lunch with Leatherface, or babysitting for Rosemary instead of spending time with your real friends and family, this book is for you. You call yourself a horror fan? Prove it! Test your film knowledge with 666 hair-raising horror movie trivia questions compiled from over a century of genre cinema, then challenge your fellow freaks. Now this is just a book of trivia questions, so there's a lot of ways to use it. You could read it straight through and learn about some new films that you might have missed, or feel some nostalgia for old favorites, but I think the best way to use this is to test yourself. It's a short book, so you can actually get through it in a single sitting if you want to, or you can go a few pages at a time and do it in little chunks. But either way, keep track of how many answers you get right and wrong. The answers are at the back of the book, and when you're done, you can divide yourself into 4 different categories. The 4 categories in which you divide yourself based on how many answers you get right and how many you get wrong are nothing but a victim. In a horror film, you'd be the last to die. At least you'd have that. Psycho in training, or for the people who get the very most, master of horror. Even better than going solo would be to get a group of fellow horror nerds together and have a battle royale using the book to see who knows the most about horror movies. This would also be a great reference for pub trivia quizmasters. What I especially like is that, as big of a horror nerd as I am, and I am, there were some questions in here that even I didn't know the answer to. Yes, there are plenty of easy ones, and I got plenty, but there are some genuine surprises, there are some genuine puzzlers. This is good for all ranges of knowledge of horror movies. Now, unfortunately, the publisher has gone under, so this book is out of print, but I did some research and copies are still easily available through the internet. So go out and get yourself a copy of James Newman's 666 Hair-Raising Horror Movie Trivia Questions. Until next time then, take care and stay scared.